It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Nice. Got it.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Philadelphia Phillies communication representative, Lauren Testa. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to work in professional sports?
Yes. So I can honestly say, though, that I did not know that I wanted to work in professional sports, but I did want to work in entertainment. And I actually had an internship at the Rachel Ray Show in New York City, which was a really great experience. And it showed me that, I really like the entertainment industry, but I wanted to work somewhere closer to home, which is in South Jersey. And luckily, there was an opening at the Philadelphia Phillies for a communications intern. So I applied and I got it. And I learned all about the world of sports through that internship. And obviously, I'm still here today.
How did the Rachel Riley show help you to work in professional sports?
So what's cool about the Rachel Ray Show is that obviously there's no sports on her show whatsoever. It's about cooking, it's about entertainment and fun. And I got a lot of great experience there just in public relations. I managed the social media on the show. So I was uploading to Pinterest and Twitter and Facebook. And when I applied to the Phillies, my current boss, the vice president of communications, Bonnie Clark, she actually had come from the TV industry. She worked at QVC. And when she saw that I came from TV, she really liked that. So that's how I actually got my interview, with just that little connection right there that I did not know anything about at the time. So it was just her seeing that on my resume that got my foot in the door. And then I impressed them with my own personal experience.
What was it like to get the job working in professional baseball?
It was incredible. It was a huge learning curve because I was not well versed in baseball. I didn't know a lot about, the current team. At the time, it was 2015. So a lot of hardcore Phillies fans will tell you that, that was the kind of the end of the era of the '08 team. So we still had Chase Utley on the team, Ryan Howard, a lot of the guys that had won the World Series championship. And I did not know that. I learned a ton, though. You have to stay professional at all times. And it was a really quick lesson in, Major League sports.
Can you talk about, of course, you're just talking about staying professional at all times while working with professional baseball players. How difficult is it sometimes knowing that you might have seen them growing up, for example?
So I think for me personally, it wasn't difficult. But I know a lot of people are huge fans and they want to work for the sports teams, they've seen their entire lives. And you just have to remember that athletes are people. Like, there's no difference between you and me. It's just that they're playing outside on the field and you're working for the same sports team. And you're all working together for the common goal, which is, for the joy of the fans. And so you're all on the same team. So there's no difference. So you just have to bring that realization to yourself that, you're exactly the same, just, different uniforms.
What are some of your roles and responsibility as the communications representative?
Awesome. Yeah. So I am the communication representative. It's changed a lot in the last 6 years. One of the really big things that I love to do, I manage something called the Step Up program, which is a community service initiative for our minor leaguers. It unfortunately couldn't run last year because of COVID, and it's not running this year just because we didn't know what was happening with the season. But that's a big thing that I'm really proud of to help, take care of. And other things that I do on a day-to-day basis is just non-baseball communications. So I work with some really amazing people, and we garner publicity for all of the events at the ballpark that are not baseball specific. So it's not the actual game, but it would be things like sponsorship activations, charity events, and other fun things at the ballpark that are happening on the main concourse and outside.
Can you talk about more about the Step Up program that you were talking about?
Yeah, definitely. So our minor leaguers are required to do a certain amount of hours of community service. And the big reason that we do that is because we want them to know that even though they're playing baseball and that's amazing, we want them to still stay grounded and know like people are looking up to you. You are also a figure in the community. Even when you're starting at such a lower level, we still want you to know like it's time to start giving back, because once you do make it to the major league level, you're expected to do so much in the community. We have players all the time doing hospital visits, going out in the community and doing different things for different groups of people. And we just want to get them prepared for that major league level experience.
Can you talk about, of course, the process of setting up those community events, working with like your local hospitals to have like
Yeah,
professional baseball players come out?
of course. So a lot of the contacts at local hospitals, they're in touch with our community outreach department, and they'll plan for the right time and then different events. Like we've done a lot of really cool events. We go to Nemours for different events that happen. So before the season starts, we have something called the Nemours. It's a Nemours rally for opening day. So all the kids, we give them all these giveaways. They come down to the atrium and we have players come in, and sometimes, we'll be delivering pizza or, whatever the treat is that we're bringing in. And it's just really fun for them because they're getting this special visit. And of course, the big green guy is there, the Philly fanatic. So everyone, the kids sometimes like the fanatic more than the actual players themselves. But who doesn't like the biggest, furriest, and best mascot in sports? It's awesome.
Can you talk about, of course, working with the big green mascot when it
Yes, I
comes to
can.
when it comes to communication relationships? What is that like?
So it's fun. For a lot of our events in non-baseball communications, he is around. He's a really prevalent figure for a lot of our press events. We try to always book him. If he's not available, it's super disappointing. But when he is available, he just brings that extra bright spot to, a sergeant surprise or a school visit that we're doing where we might have a Fanatic About Reading program. He just makes everyone's faces light up. So even if we're winning or losing, that doesn't matter, because when the fanatic comes in, everyone forgets how the team's doing and they're just so excited to see him and celebrate a great community event.
What is the process like of getting the Philadelphia Phillies connected with the community?
So there's actually, that's an amazing question because so we have a charitable arm called the Phillies Charities Inc. And what charities can do that might not have had a relationship with the Phillies in the past is apply for a grant through them. I do a lot with our Phillies Charities grant process. We have some amazing people on the board and they pick different charities each year to give grants out to. So there's a whole process of application, and actually the applications are going to go live in the next couple of months. So people that are interested can email fans@phillies.com because I can give them all the information through there. But once they apply, like I said, there's so many amazing charities. It's hard to pick one, but we get the recognition across. Even if they don't get a grant, they start that conversation early on. And there's other things that we can do with them, whether it be maybe a Fanatic visit or maybe it's CI tickets that are free tickets to the ballpark. There's so many things that we try to do to help our charities.
Can you talk about, of course, the process of answering emails for fans and what that's like?
Of course. So as I mentioned, there's a fans email account and I manage it. It's called fans@phillies.com, PHANS. So if anyone wants to email it and send a question in, I'm happy to respond. We do get a high volume of emails all the time, and they vary. They range from customer complaints to really cool customer experiences that they want to share their gratitude to different staff members that might be around the ballpark, whether they be Aramark or Spectra. We also get some very interesting emails that we have to decide what to do with them, and others get involved. We get some alumni emails. It's kind of the catch-all for anything that you want to know or want to say about the ballpark and about the Phillies.
Of course, while answering the emails, have you ever got emails about like meet and greets? And can you talk about that process of meeting and greeting players and coaches?
Yes. So actually we get the meet and greet question a ton. And this year, unfortunately, due to COVID, meet and greets have been suspended. You can't really, set up a meet and greet. Like in the past, you would be able to, stand outside of the dugouts and, really get to interact with the players. But just because of COVID, it's a lot harder for that interaction because, we have a lot more separation involved due to MLB guidelines. But in the future, hopefully those will go away and meet and greet type events will come back, and meet and greets for season ticket holders and meet and greets for ticket holders, even just like a Fanatic meet and greet, stuff like that. Hopefully in the post-COVID seasons, starting in 2022, there'll be other events that'll be available, and then they'll be posted on our website under the A to Z guide.
Can you talk about, of course, pre-COVID, what was the meet and greets like for the Philadelphia Phillies?
Oh yeah, definitely. So we did a couple of different things. Meet and greets were normally donated as VIP games for different charities to auction off to raise money for their events. So we would donate them to, eligible 501c3s in the area. And then they would get to come down and be on our warning track, which is like, some people might not know what a warning track is. So it's the dirt that surrounds the field, and you get to stand on the dirt, and players would come over to you and they would give you autographs. They would say hi. They would just talk to you. And our guys love just to interact with fans. That's something I really appreciate about our team, is that they want to talk to you. They want to know who you are, and they just want to say hi. And they're very upset that they can't do that this season. They want to try to throw balls over the netting right now. It's a little bit more difficult. So hopefully we do bring that meet and greet experience back on the warning track, because it's just such a nice time for all the fans.
Of course, working with inside of COVID, what is it like, and what are some of the things and challenges you have faced?
I think the biggest challenge was the unknown. So in the beginning, not many of us knew what was going on. And then once we did know what was going on, we actually got to really take a hands-on approach. So our entire front office really it was a volunteer basis. You could come in and work if you felt comfortable during COVID to, take part and help create last season. It was crazy and challenging and amazing all at once. I personally volunteered a ton and socially distant and wore a mask the entire time. And I worked outside of both clubhouses, just checking players in, making sure that they, had their credentials, had their mask on, and just let them into the clubhouse. Other posts included, around the main concourse, you got to sit in the stands, sit up in the press area. It was just a fascinating time for all of us. And again, tons of unknowns, but we did it together as a group, and it was really amazing to see the teamwork of our organization.
Can you talk about, of course, working with the media and what that's like?
Yeah. So I love working with the media, but I also work with them on my more fun side of everything. So I don't really get, the hard hitting stuff. If you're in a losing streak, or, if anything's happening that's, maybe more negative in the baseball side of the world. So it's really fun. I know a lot of cameramen in the industry. They're all wonderful people. We've hung out early in the morning. We've hung out late at night, filming different events at the ballpark. It's really just an exciting time. There's a lot of face recognition, and, the outreach is easy because all we do is send out an email and hope that they'll come and cover it. When we're pitching, you have to be really, grabby, and that's why we try to add the Fanatic to things, because he's a lot more newsworthy. He makes things a lot more better for B-roll. So we try to make our press events very, visual.
Of course, working with the press, can you talk about the process of getting your professional athletes and even coaches on podcast or media outlets like that?
Yeah, so I think it depends really. So we have someone in our department that handles a lot of the internal requests, but it'll also have to go through their agents depending on what it is. So if it's a Phillies request, so if it's in ballpark, it'll go through the Phillies communications department. and we're helpful. We'll let you know exactly what's going on and what to do, and we'll try to help as much as possible. I think that we've really opened up our doors as fast as we could, especially post-COVID, to get players on different things, whether it be on a broadcast or, just in-person interviews for all of the press that are at the ballpark. So when it comes to like a podcast or something, you could reach out via their social medias, but it's a lot easier to go through our communications department because we'll get the information to them faster and they'll actually hear it and you will get a response. Whether it's positive or negative, I do not know, but you will get one.
What is something that you learned now that you didn't know before starting working in professional baseball?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things I didn't know. One of them I think that's amazing is that the sports world's very, very small. And our Phillies organization is a lot smaller than people think it is. So people always think, that these front offices have maybe, I've heard crazy numbers from different people. I've heard 1,000 people. I've heard over that. We don't have that many people. So we all know each other very well. We all see each other all the time. Like we know the GM by name, but we also know every janitor by name. It's very important for us how inclusive we are. And I don't think a lot of people know that when they're trying to either apply or, when they're just trying to get in. If you're emailing me trying to get a job, like whatever department you're also trying to get through to, whether it be community outreach or marketing or sponsorship, we're all like a couple desks away from each other and we all talk. We're all very, very close and it's not really a corporate environment. It's a lot more of a family-friendly environment.
That's so amazing. What advice would you give somebody looking to work into professional sports?
Yeah, so my biggest thing is to network. And obviously in a post-COVID world, it's a lot more difficult. But it's just those LinkedIn cold messages that really do get things across. Like Brandon, you messaged me on LinkedIn and look, now we're talking. I have college kids all the time that message me. I don't check it as often as I should, but when I do check it, I try to answer every single person back and tell them to email me at my work email and we can set something up. And even if we're not currently hiring in our communications department, I'm happy to talk, maybe give them another name to talk to and help give advice. But like the biggest thing is always to network and just try to expand your network as much as possible because you never know who you're going to meet and what opportunities they have.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with, of course, the Philadelphia Phillies app?
Oh, well, I can tell you all about the Phillies social media and then I have to look up my own. So the Phillies are at Phillies, at PHILLIES on everything. Follow us on TikTok too, because one of my colleagues who's running it is very proud of her TikToks. And we also launched something called Citizens Bank Parks, like it's a special Facebook, a special Twitter page just for Citizens Bank Parks. So if fans are coming to a game, they can get updated on what's happening that day at the game, whether it be, a fun event or, maybe a freebie that's happening, a social media giveaway or what have you. You can follow at Citizens Bank Park on Facebook, and I believe that it's Phillies CBP on Twitter. And then my personals, I just think that everyone should connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Lauren Testa, and I will answer you if you message me.
Thank you again, Lauren Testa, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Philadelphia Phillies as the communications representative.
Thank you, Brandon, for having me.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Lauren, for your interview, and best of luck.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.